Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope you guys had a fantastic week. I'll try to keep this short and simple for you guys. So the biggest thing today, obviously, a lot of blood at first, and then kind of a small little V-shaped recovery. We caught the nice long today. We caught a short today. So we played both sides today. So if you watched the video last night, I mentioned Wednesday's lows being a potential target for today, right? Because we had a 15-minute, it looked like a big 15-minute hourly and an hourly sell model, down to at least those lows. Um, and then if we went below those lows and didn't show any signs of reversing, we knew we had this daily order block here sitting around 1720 that we would probably want to tap into. Like I said, these order blocks are just like FEGs, like they don't like to go unfilled. So you see, so we are bouncing from that right now. We did inverse this small hourly, this small daily here, so not exactly the most it's not the most bullish sign, but doesn't mean we can't go right back up because you see we had it happen here as well, and the next day we came right back up. So, maybe we just came down, tapped this. We took a bunch of liquidity to the downside, or we could just be starting. Let's check out the weekly candle. Obviously, a very flat week. No surprise, no news. So I mean, they kept it very flat, and then we'll pick up next week at the new year and a lot more news. But the biggest thing, we do have another weekly fair value gap here that's worth noting. But the biggest thing I see on the weekly right now is this weekly fair value gap, right? So we have this big old FEG here, and then something else that I found interesting was if we look at our 50% from here to here, look where the 50% lines up with on the weekly. So if we take another one, look how that lines up almost perfectly. It just seems like it could be a good target for us to go down to, and have a little 50% retrace on the weekly down to 545, we'll call it, and then maybe back up. Not saying that's going to happen. It's just something I found interesting. That could end up being a target if we start showing more displacement down. So that's the weekly, but is this the turnaround here with this wick, or are we just coming up here to reject this 4 hour. This is what I'm going to be watching going into next week. If we end up inversing this, we're going right back up to the highs. If we come up and reject it, or let's see here, let's look at this. So we have our 4 hour to here. So you see, if we come back up here, we would tap into this 4 hour that's going to be formed here in about 30 minutes. We're back above zero point 0.5, and then we could reject, and then we could reject. Because I do like these lows right here, here on the 4 hour down here to that 760, and also this lines up with, because you see this low this low right here did not sweep this low, so it's kind of like equal lows here. They're off by a couple points, like 2 points, but you see they're kind of equal lows, and it's the very top of an unfilled weekly bullish fair value gap that's it's going to want filled. So I do think we could be drawing down to that, but what will tell us if we're in a big 4 hour sell model is going to be this 4 hour FVG if we even come back up and tap into it. So if we do come up and look into this, I'm going to be looking for shorts. If we get like a confirmation short out of it, if we close above it, then we know we're back bullish, and then we continue back higher because that's the bearish side. The bullish side is we're still holding this 4 hour FEG here. So we're still holding this one right here. So you so we'll really know. So if we do not come back up to this and we end up inversing into going straight through this one, we're going straight to these lows. Obviously, we might 50% up, whatever, and then but we will be on the higher time frame. We will be drawing down to that 760 level based on this 4 hour right here. So these are the two 4 hours I'm going to be watching on NQ going into next week. So what gave me like indication that we were going to start off bearish today. So I kind of showed if you guys watched the video yesterday, it's going to be pretty much the exact same thing. But you see, we took some liquidity up here. We took a previous day high, and then we get strong displacement down. What happens? We have a 15-minute FEG comes up. Here's your If we draw our fib here, here's this. There's your 50%, 50% up into a 15-minute fair value gap and back down. Okay, and then we come back down. We knew we held this yesterday, right? We were holding this the whole day, and then eventually we get through it and we got a little more downside. Inversed it back up in the middle of of London session. That was the high of London, and then obviously right back down. But so we had an FEG there. We had a 15-minute FEG here that was still rejecting. So we knew we were probably going to come. We were going to continue down and still be bearish here. So we see this how strong this 15 was. So we know we're still in a sell model, and we need to be looking for a short still because look at all these lows here. All these lows here, we have nice like down little uptrends here that are ready to break. But if we look, I mean, you want to look at it as where is your smooth lows? So like you see like the damage is already done up here. They took liquidity, like and then so we need to look at the other side and see is there smooth lows on here? Well, yeah, these are kind of relatively equal lows. These are all low. Like there's a ton of lows here that people are gonna deem as their safe zone, and price should not go back below there. So where's the market going to attack? The market's going to attack those lows and come down and sweep those lows. And what's telling us that is how we kept rejecting this 15 rejection, and then we made more 15s over here rejection. You see right here, 15-minute rejection. So that's why I was just overall a little more bearish today, and like I said, I said we could look for longs if we hit this 1755, but you see we just kept on going straight through. So we knew as we kept on pushing down, this was not the liquidity we were after, but you could still use it as a target and a spot where you want to cut your shorts. But the strong displacement through, we knew we were going after more lows because we'd had no signs of reversal here. So the next obvious target would have been this low right here and this low. You see we end up taking that. We stab pretty deep into it, and then we get our reversal where we call our long today on 50% of this leg, right? So that's pretty much it. And then oh yeah, one more thing. You see how like these 15-minute OBs were also rejecting, giving us bearish order flow on the candles, telling us we need to continue to be bearish until we inverse those. So I came into today watching strictly this 15-minute. So this was around open here. I said if we get above this 15, we're gonna go up and we're gonna take London highs right here. This was our 330 highs right here. So the middle of London session. I said if we I had two conditions. I said if we inverse this, we're gonna go up to London highs. We'll see what price does from there. If we in it, or are we just coming up 50%? Here to here, 50% back up into our highest FVG and then reject. So now all the lower time frame FVGs are filled. Now we can continue to push lower. Since we started displacing out of it, we knew our next target was 1755. Then you kind of see on the hourly too, like hourly OBs right here just held price down the entire way. And then hourly FVG rejections as well. Right here was an hourly FVG rejection. Where also this morning where we rejected. So that's why I came into today bearish. And then we get down here, and whenever we start to get like big displacement down, you can't just short because you're afraid. You got to be afraid of 50% retracements like this. So going into next week, I'm gonna want, like I said, I'm watching those 2 4 hours I showed you, and this 15-minute will be huge because you see that's where we rejected today. We hit our 50% here. Highest FEG, kind of the same thing that happened up here with this one, right? 50% up, back down. 50% up, back down. So if we come back down and take this low again down here at 940, I think we're going to 900, which takes us down to these lows down here. Um, that's just what I'm going to be watching going into next week. So for the long that we took today, so we always know like 50% is our huge target. So we were waiting on something to show us that we could target that 50%. So right here was our right here was our play this afternoon. We actually took two trade. We actually used this twice today, right? Um, we ended up well, I guess we used this one, and we used this one for a retracement because we thought maybe we were gonna short back down. So we had 50% here, right? 50% up. Rejected this 5 minute. We ended up shorting when we inverse this 5 minute right here. So we took a short right here. We ended up trimming at I believe it was 55. So it was like this. It was this low right here, and then we went in, and then we went to break even, and then we got stopped out of break even. So we still a winning trade, but that was the short today. And then we started to get really good displacement up. We come back up and we inverse this five. Well, once we inverse this five, chances of us going up to hourly 50% are very very good. So you can use that as your target, and then so you see we have our 5 minute in we have our 5 minute inverse here. We close above. We actually took this trade early because of this right here, this 5 minute order block. Usually when we get an order block around an inverse, showing us in these this OB kind of shows us we longed here. We put our stops below that OB, and then you see what happens. The OB sends us up and through that. So it's a way to kind of get in early before the inverse actually happens. Because now like we got in at 84, the middle up here, instead of way up here at 93. So we got an extra 10 points out of it just because we seen this 5 minute order block. So then we ended up our first target was this 5 minute because why it's 50% of here, and it's an unfilled FVG, so we could absolutely reject here. So we trimmed here at 17,002. I think it was like 17,005 because this was a quick candle, and then we went to break even, and then obviously we didn't deliver up here. We left equal highs. But it kind of told us, right, that we were going to go back up because we're not just going to leave those equal highs up here, kind of like up here, right? We took another long today out of here. So this is how strong and why you always need to be watching your 50%. So we were aiming for hourly. I just deleted it here. Let's see. We were uh, aiming for discount, or we were aiming for premium here on the 50% of the hourly up to like it was like 1723. And then, so once we got above here, we knew we were going for hourly 50%. We get it because we were trying to come up into this 15 here where we rejected. We sold at 22, and you see it was a pretty decent sell. And then another 50%. I already showed you guys this, but as part of the trade, you see we had this low right here. This another example of 50%. Boom, came back down, filled this 5 minute FVG. You see how the body's respected that 50%, tapped just into it, got just low enough to hit 50%, and then what happens? Right back higher. And then we took another small trade, just a kind of a fun trade to see if it worked out here. We had this 5 minute FVG here, and we left equal highs up here, so we should come back and at least take those equal highs, right? And then look what happens here. Just enough, 50%. We never take this low again. Right back up, take the highs, tap into that 50 minute, and then continue to reject. So that was NQ today. I mean, we just want to show you guys just it's the 50% was so clean today. Um, just on every time frame, it just works so well. So it's just something you really need to implement into your trading. It will help you immensely. So that's NQ, right? ES. I will not be as long on ES here. ES still in this daily order block, right? So still watching this. Um, ES today we said could hit 48.16, and I said, well, if we show no signs of reversing at 48.16, 48.06, this low right here was our next target. You see, we took that, and then we get a nice rejection out of a nice reversal out of here. And what else do you notice here? We have a 4-hour order block sitting right here. Just barely tapped the wick of it, respected it nicely, get a nice pump back up. So it's pretty much the same thing as I showed you on NQ. I'm going to be watching this 4-hour, see if we can come back up and tap into it. Because remember that from here to here, your 50% would be here above it, and then let's see, where can we watch below? And then we'll see if this 4-hour gets inverse back down. If we end up pushing through this, our next target's at 47.84 level. Push through there. Um, it would probably take us down to. So this is where the equal lows are on NQ. You see, that's why we pumped last time because ES took those lows and NQ didn't. But I think this would be the next target for ES down to 47, 43 if we start slicing through this 4-hour fair value gap here. And then we also have this one to contend with as well. It's actually a 4-hour BPR. So that's ES, and then obviously if we push up through this, we're looking at Wednesday's highs again, back up to that 48, 42 ish level. So with that, I think I talked enough to you guys. Let's do a quick check on DXY. I just want to look at DXY weekly, see where we're sitting there with the equal lows. So we're getting closer to those equal lows. Have to see what that does coming into the rest of the week. I mean, we could get some kind of, 50% back up to this weekly here first before we go lower, and then we have a weekly order block here as well. We could reject, so we could hit that 50% weekly FEG, weekly order block, and then maybe back down. So something like this maybe looks like it could be a possibility, especially with the indices looking a little more on the bearish side. So with that, hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Have a happy and safe New Year, and we'll catch you guys on Tuesday.